Hi, it's Emma here. Just wanted to let you know what the team are hoping for in the race.
Hi guys, CombinedYoutuber here. Welcome to the F1 2016 Creamer today, and we're doing the Chinese Grand Prix race today. We start from 7th on the grid for this Chinese Grand Prix, the third race of the season in our Haas Season 1 season, and we need to finish the race in 12th or above, which should be easy, and beating Romain Grosjean, and we need to beat, we've already beat Romain Grosjean, and then we need to obviously do our objective of 16th, 15th in the championship. So let's go to the race for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Ever since the Sauber of Felipe Massa passed Jenson Button into turn 1 at the very first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004, Shanghai has consistently provided close racing and extraordinary memories. It's where Lewis Hamilton effectively lost the title in his rookie year, and it's where Nico Rosberg claimed Mercedes' first win of the modern era in 2012. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long, though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, it's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you've got turns 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Rosberg, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen and Verstappen, a Haas, Sainz, Bottas and Sergio Perez, Massa, Button, Fernando Alonso and Ericsson, Kvyat, Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg and Jolyon Palmer, Nasser and Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein and Rio Haryanto completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the Chinese Grand Prix. We are starting from 7th on the grid, as I said, and as you can see from the weather forecast, we have got a cloudy finish to this race, and for some reason the strategy weirdly was a medium tyre strategy on the second stint. So I edited the strategy to make it a soft stint for the last few laps of this race. I'd prefer that to going on terrible medium tyres, have absolutely no grip at all, and then just go on the soft tyres. I prefer that. So onto the soft tyre strategy, and yeah, let's get on with the race now on the formation lap of this Chinese Grand Prix. Now remember that I might not get a good result here because China in the past has not been a good track to me. In 2013 I came 17th, no, I actually retired in Season 1. In Season 2 I actually came 3rd in the next 2 seasons. And that's the best, but the best result I've had here is 3rd. So it's I don't think I'll repeat 3rd in this car, but anyway, you're actually having a little cheeky look at Verstappen there. We weren't going to overtake him on the formation lap, of course, but we're weaving now on the straight. Trying actually not to hit Verstappen. You can. This is a good view of all the cars weaving down the straight. This is a good view when it's not, yeah, so it's actually quite a good view. But now into the hairpin, and now into the final corner to line up on the grid for this race. Chinese Grand Prix, 3rd round of the season in the Shanghai International Circuit. Max Verstappen is in 6th place on the grid beside us. Carlos Sainz behind us. And then Bottas in 9th. And Perez completing the top 10. As now, here we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. The 3rd round of Season 1 of the F1 2016 career mode. It's away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. And it's a pretty good start for us there, coming down towards turn 1 now. And we're going to go beside Verstappen into turn 1. There's a bit of contact behind there, I think. And coming into turn 2. And there is a yellow flag, and Sergio Perez has gone half spinning there on the entry to turn 2 there. Sergio Perez has gone for a spin on the exit of that corner there. And we are up into 7th. We are stayed in our 7th place position. As now Max Verstappen is pulling away from the field, coming down into turn 6 now, braking down to 2nd gear. And you can see there's a battle going on between Rosberg, I think, at the front, and Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull. So Ricciardo going for an early lead. He's had a good start to this race. But now coming into the SS section, we've gone wide at both apexes there. Can we get Max Verstappen into these next few corners? Now onto the straight on lap 1 of this Chinese Grand Prix. Our tyres are already on 42%, by the way, on the first lap. That is just unbelievable. But now here is Ricciardo and Rosberg side by side coming into the final corner. These are on board with Lewis Hamilton, but Ricciardo's trying to get it around the outside. Rosberg squeezes him out onto the curb, and now Hamilton challenges Ricciardo coming into this corner. And as you can see ahead of Verstappen, it's 4 wide between the 2nd place guys coming into turn 1. And there's contact, and Hamilton and Ricciardo have both gone off the track. And I believe they've been tapped by Sebastian Vettel as we've gone wide, getting distracted by that incident. Let's see from Verstappen's point of view. Let's see, Vettel comes up the inside, makes contact with Ricciardo, and pushes Ricciardo and Hamilton off. So Vettel taps Ricciardo, as you can see there. And yeah, so from Ricciardo's point of view, you can see Vettel taps Ricciardo off completely. And into turn 2, we can see from Hamilton's point of view now. Wow, this is actually a really interesting start to this race. You can see Hamilton, one of the championship leader, mind you, has gone off the track at turn 1. Very interesting stuff. But now Ricciardo is challenging us down into this corner now. We're going to go side by side with him down into turn 3. Now coming into turn 5, and Rosberg leads this race from Kimi Räikkönen in 2nd. And we stay ahead of Daniel Ricciardo into turn 6. We're coming into this corner onto turn 7. Valtteri Bottas is ahead of us now. He's the Williams. And now here's a replay of the start of this race, where I think Ricciardo started on the front row. It was a good performance from him in qualifying. And here we go. So Rosberg gets an absolutely terrible start. And Ricciardo is actually leading into turn 1. But so into turn 2, Rosberg's moving to the outside, and trying to challenge Daniel Ricciardo back there. So a very interesting start to this Chinese Grand Prix so far. Let's hope we can do better in this Grand Prix. Now coming into turn 6, you can see Rosberg is actually challenging Ricciardo on the inside, and that's when Rosberg retook the lead of this Grand Prix. And now coming into the flat out turn 7. Well, not flat in this game, but anyway. Coming into the long right-hander at turn 11, 12, and 13. We have Daniel Ricciardo behind us. We're going to change on lap 3, but not for medium tyres. We are going to change for soft tyres, as our strategy says. As now here comes Felipe Massa on the straight, passing 3 cars on one straight there. That is just Mercedes power at its best. And Felipe Massa gets into 6th place. A good pass from him there. Felipe Massa passed Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton, and me, and got up into 6th. What brilliant straight line speed from the Mercedes power of that Williams. But now into the pits we go for possibly our only pit stop. Usually it is for a set of soft tyres in this Chinese Grand Prix. And there's a Williams out of the pits, which is of course Valtteri Bottas, who's on the medium tyres. So all the AI look to go on the medium tyres, whereas we are on the soft tyres. So we have the faster tyre compared to the AI. So this is going to be very interesting, this race. I think we're the only person on the soft tyre. The AI are all on mediums. So let's see what happens here. in this race. Coming into turn 2 and turn 3, we've come out in 18th place, ahead of Hamilton and behind Bottas. Well, I said we're behind Bottas. And yeah, so our engineer's saying we have a lap's worth of spare fuel in the car. And now onto the straight now. We have Daniel Ricciardo slipstreaming Lewis Hamilton. He pulls over to the inside. They are side by side on the straight. Ricciardo uses DRS to go past Lewis Hamilton into this position. That's a good move from Ricciardo. He gets past a Mercedes down a straight. Not bad for a Renault engine there, but now coming out of the pits we have Felipe Massa out of the pit lane there. We just get out ahead of him. Into 17th place we go. Felipe Massa, who did that triple overtake on the straight, of course, into turn 1. Yeah, just down towards turn 14, the hairpin. But now into 17th place we are. And here we go onto the hairpin on lap 6 of the Chinese Grand Prix. Grosjean has just entered the pits, Romain Grosjean. Our engineer just said Romain's entered the pits, so here we go into the final, onto the straight. Where are we going to end up? We're going to end up in 12th, 11th place again. In front of Alonso, but still behind Valtteri Bottas, so we need to get some overtaking here. We are catching Bottas, as I said. Bottas on the mediums, I'm on the softs. Let's see, so the Jensen Button and Jolyon Palmer and Rio Haryanto and Nasser have not pitted, Magnussen as well, so we are effectively in Rosberg, Raikkonen, Vettel, Verstappen, Bottas, me, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place. We are effectively in 6th place at the moment, so I think that's where we were when we came into the pits. So we're effectively 6th place, but if we pass Bottas, we'll get 5th place. And now there's a Sauber off to the left-hand side. A Sauber spun off. Felipe Nasser has spun off on the left-hand side, and now we are right up the gearbox of Valtteri Bottas now, coming into turn 14. We're going to go up the inside. Verstappen is challenging Sebastian Vettel, but now into the hairpin. We get past Valtteri Bottas. Into 9th place we go, effectively 5th. But now Verstappen challenging Vettel once again. They're side by side to the final corner. Vettel squeezes out Verstappen, and we are going to get some great traction, and we get past the Dutchman as well into 8th place, 7th place in fact, because people are still in the pits. And now we're going to challenge Vettel into turn 1. Had a little look there, but he shut the door. And now here's a replay of what happened to Felipe Nasser. Here we go, so he's side by side with Raikkonen, and he's going on the inside, and he's hit Raikkonen completely, and he's spun round at turn 13. So Felipe Nasser, what a shame for him there. He was in a good position before his pit stop. And now we are effectively, believe it or not, we are effectively in 4th place in this Grand Prix now. If you don't count the 2 people who haven't pitted. This pass maybe coming up here will be for a podium position. So as I was saying, we are not going. Yes, here we go. We're getting closer with DRS open on Sebastian Vettel. We're going to go up the inside, and we're going to get into 5th place. A great move from us on Sebastian Vettel, and we are effectively on the podium positions here in China. A good move. Here's the replay. We are using DRS, catching him fast. We broke so late. We go up the inside. We almost overshot the corner, actually. Almost went off the track, but we got some good braking, and we move into 3rd place effectively. So this is good. This is good stuff. So you might actually end up in another 3rd place. You know how I said in the last 2 F1 2013 seasons we were in 3rd place. Well, we might actually have another 3rd place. But now Sebastian Vettel has DRS once again and has absolutely shot past us into turn 14, and he's actually got us. So that's actually quite costly. As I was saying, we might get a third place in a row. We lose that podium position to Sebastian Vettel as Jolyon Palmer comes into the pits now. So let's see what happens here. Max Verstappen challenging us for DRS now, coming down towards turn 1. Let's see what Verstappen can do on the inside. Into turn 1, he's side by side with this. Oh, I think there was a bit of contact there. I thought Verstappen slid. But now into turn 2, we're still side by side. Verstappen's slightly ahead. We have the inside line into turn 2. Verstappen's going around the outside. And Verstappen actually gets the move done there. Yes, he does. Verstappen gets the move into 4th place. But now we're going to go up the inside once again into turn 6 on Max Verstappen. And we get the move, maybe. Yes, he squeezed onto the curb. And we get back up into 4th place. Some good racing here in China. We actually have a chance for a podium here, but we've gone wide there, and now Verstappen's actually tapped us into turn 9. So in real F1 you can't make an overtake without touching anyone, and in the game is as well, so that's quite realistic there. But now coming onto the straight now, we have Lewis Hamilton challenging us onto the straight. He's got DRS. He's going to absolutely shoot past us in that Mercedes. And Verstappen very slow on the straight there, as Hamilton moves up the inside of him as well. Hamilton moves up 2 places in this Chinese Grand Prix, and Hamilton gets 4th place. And now we're going to try and challenge Max Verstappen again into the final corner, and we've actually lost 2 places effectively there. But now onto the straight on lap 11 of this Grand Prix, so we have 3 laps to go, and Verstappen broke very early into turn 1 there, so we get very close to him, and we must not tap him there because that would be very bad. But now coming into turn 6 up the inside once again on Max Verstappen, there's contact once again, and we squeeze him out on the curb once again into the same corner, and it's 5th place. This is some good points coming up. This will equal our best finish of the career mode, because Bahrain last time out we finished in 5th. But now Bottas and Verstappen are side by side. He's going to challenge us as well, Valtteri Bottas, into this corner, and we are losing places once again into 6th place. Our tyres, well, our front left tyre is on 68%, so our tyres are going fast, starting to fall off the cliff, and we are losing positions left, right and centre. We've gone down to 6th from a possible podium place, and Nico Hülkenberg has now retired from the Grand Prix. He was actually in the battle for 6th place, and he's got an engine failure into turn 7. He parks up. That shouldn't be a safety car, because he's parked it safely there on the escape road at turn 7. But now, once again, Verstappen is all over the back of us down towards turn 1. Was it Ricciardo? Yeah, it's Verstappen actually. Coming into turn 1, is Verstappen going to get us? Yes, he is. And now Jensen Button in the McLaren is going to go on the inside as well. He touches us, and Verstappen actually gets the move. But we're trying to hold it around the outside of Button into turn 2 and into turn 3. Here we go, coming into turn 3. We hold on to the position from Jensen Button into, I believe, 7th place. So we lost another position in this race. So we're actually dropping down from what was a possible podium place. And here we go, Jensen Button challenging us once again on the straight. And here is Romain Grosjean challenging Fernando Alonso coming into the hairpin. And he's going to go up the inside of Massa as well. What a move from Grosjean, getting a double overtake into the hairpin. And, well, that seems like he's faster than us, so we're going to do some cheeky team orders here. So, we're going to let him through into the braking zone at turn 6, because he is way faster than us, even though he's on the slower tyre. He just made a double overtake, and we're just losing positions left, right and centre. So that's down to 9th place now on the final lap. So that's we've gone from 3rd place on around lap 9 down to P9, as now we've lost 2 more positions as Massa and Alonso fight it out. But now into the hairpin, we're going to brake so late into the hairpin. We're going to go around the outside of both Massa and Alonso, and we actually hold on to the position there. So we actually get a double overtake around the outside. But now, final corner of the Chinese Grand Prix, we finish in 9th position, our worst result of our second worst result of the season, after 15th in Australia.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
It was a fantastic drive. Are you serious? Anyway, 9th place. Unfortunate result after a possible podium. We were in 3rd place, and now we just lost positions left, right, and centre due to our unbelievable tyre wear, as Nico Rosberg wins the Chinese Grand Prix, and he wins the 2nd race in a row. And I believe no Lewis Hamilton on the podium, so interesting. Ferrari getting in there, the prancing horse getting in there. And there is myself getting out of the car in 9th place. You can see my beautiful green and red helmet there. And now here is the podium. Rosberg did indeed win from Raikkonen. Raikkonen finishes ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And that's very interesting there. So now Rosberg holds up the Chinese trophy in celebration. He won here, of course, in 2012 to get his first F1 victory. And he wins here in 2016 career mode to relieve his first victory in Formula 1. And Rosberg celebrates with a champagne. They all celebrate with champagne. And Nico Rosberg, as you can see, wins the Chinese Grand Prix by 7 seconds from Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel in 3rd, Lewis Hamilton in 4th, Max Verstappen finishes in 5th for Red Bull. There's Valtteri Bottas, Jensen Button finishes a strong 7th for McLaren Honda. Then Romain Grosjean finishes ahead of us in 9th. Felipe Massa, then Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo in 12th, which is he had a very bad race this weekend. After starting on the front row and going to lead in turn 1 as well. Magnussen finishes ahead of Palmer. There's Carlos Sainz in 15th. Then Ricciardo, Pascal Wehrlein, Marcus Ericsson, Daniel Kvyat, Sergio Perez, Felipe Nasser, and Nico Hulkenberg DNF'd. A terrible race for Force India as well there. In the Drivers' Championship, we have Rosberg leading by 13 points from Lewis Hamilton. There's Kimi Raikkonen, Max Verstappen ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, Valtteri Bottas. Me in 8th ahead of, tying in fact with Romain Grosjean, so we're equal teammates there. Jenson Button in 10th, Nico Hulkenberg, that's Daniel Kvyat, Felipe Massa ahead of Fernando Alonso only with the solo point. Then the non-point scorers are Sergio Perez of Force India. Not good for Sergio Perez. There's Carlos Sainz, Magnussen, Wehrlein, Palmer, Ricciardo, Ericsson, and Felipe Nasser in the Sauber. In the Constructors' Championship, we have Mercedes leading by 61 points from Red Bull. Then Ferrari only 3 points behind Red Bull. Then it's Haas staying in 4th for the time being ahead of Williams. Then McLaren, Toro Rosso, Force India, Sauber, Manor, and Renault. So Sauber, Manor, and Renault still haven't scored a point yet. So that was an interesting Chinese Grand Prix. We finished in a disappointing 9th place, but so our resource points after that race. We have 99 resource points for a 100% clean lap, even though we touched a few people. Yeah. Anyway, we failed to beat Romain Grosjean, so we lost a point there. But we're still purple. We're still overachieving here because of our 5th place in Bahrain. And now here is our career score. We got 900 total points for qualifying. We got 3,000 for a practice session. We got 1,000 for a race session. And with the difficulty modifier, we got a total of 8,512 to get 20,000 of it into our career score now. So, hopefully you enjoyed the Chinese Grand Prix. We finished in 9th after a pretty... It was actually a good race, but the result wasn't. See you guys on my next video. The next race, by the way, is the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi. So that's one of my best tracks, so that should be good there. Hopefully you enjoyed the Chinese Grand Prix. See you guys on my next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and goodbye.